We drug won't make you hit. Now only God. Take her there. Clap for them once more, please. They clap. They clap. Clap! Thank you. Oh wow. Technology. Yeah, listen, we did joke. When they started the drama, I was taking notes. The Oga shouts, "Am I blind?" I beg. Wait. Hello, can you hear me now? Am I blind? I go to ask the other guy where this is that name me. Come on. He don't know say you no blind. Why you dey ask me whether you blind? Am I blind? No. The other guy. Okay, no. You blind. Where is the money? Where is the money? What did they worry you? I be your bank manager. I know. Technology has gone for now. So then an iPad they look for money. Inside iPad and they find money now. Better go to school. Oh. See you. Clap for them again. They try. They try, my brother. The other one they say I want cocoa. What is cocoa? You just say you can't touch cocoa. Be careful there. Without wasting more time. This person I want to call on now. My gidigba. So you know how to go down. I will call on the host. You understand? I will call on the host for the host to call on. I don't even know if they call the man. Sorry, you say super host. English shadow. I see the manager who says super host. Please give your hands together for parking. Sorry, please.
Once again, I want to remind you that this lunch is brought to you by courtesy of Top Up Extra Top Up Extra International. Sorry, you can send airtime across borders to the loved ones through Top Up Extra, and it's also brought to you by courtesy of CP Ghana Foundation. So on this juncture, I'll call on Ms. Queen Okongete to introduce our second speaker for this guest event. Thank you so much.
Clap!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Hi. Okay. I'm here to welcome someone. A very great person in our midst. He's a minister of the gospel of God, an educator, a mentor, a seasoned speaker. He's a man who wears many hats diligently. He's a founder of the presiding He's a founder and presiding apostle at World Transformation Church, a kingdom community headquartered in Ukraine, and also a CEO of Carols Group, initiatives and a global career. He's a man called by God to serve as a missionary to the needy while he was a student in the USSR. Since then, he has served those in children's homes, old folks' homes, prisons, hospitals, and in short, everywhere. Due to the apostle mandate on his life, he travels extensively throughout the former Soviet Union and around the globe, bringing the message of God's restoration, love, healing, and power to transform unto many. He holds lectures, seminars, and trainings in leadership development and community transformation projects. He is a chief academic officer and member of the board of regents at the Accelerated School of Christian Mission Missionary International Global. He is accredited a leadership institution found in the USA. His interaction and experience in working with the youth and university students have won him respect and admiration amongst professors, students, and parents worldwide. He has a unique ability to relate to people in all levels of society and leaves those who come into contact with him challenged to move on forward in life. He has authored many books dealing extensively with issues on family, reaching out to serving orphans and needy, the role of individuals in building communities, how to study and transform your world, among others. He holds degrees in forensics, painting, and ministry science from reputable education institutions. He is a Republic of Ghana's honorary consul designate to Ukraine, a position through which he interacts on governmental level with diplomatic hubs, government officials and dignitaries, maintaining a kingdom-grade approach. He is no other person than Dr. Kicha. All over the world through empowering and helping them release their God-given potential to bring positive and progressive change in communities. He's a global resident, mostly based in Kyiv, with his wife, Mrs. Queen Beatrice, and 3 children, Ephraim, Telina, and Royal Health. Join me to welcome Dr. Kicha, Dr. Albert S.
Clap! Clap!
For such an introduction, you are only forced to just say thank you. I think it was super long. I'm the honorary consul of the Republic of Ghana, and for some of the things she wasn't able to say. Since we are recording, I just want to make sure everything is as it is supposed to be. But I want to thank you all for this opportunity to be here today. Let me begin by acknowledging the dignitaries that are around here and paying due respect to them, because this is an August occasion. I remember growing up, there is a saying that if you want to hide anything from an African, put it in a book. But I think that saying is becoming obsolete because Africans are reading. I would like to acknowledge the presence of my brother and friend, Dr. Sidney Alode of Sidatech and Kings of Zion International. I want to also recognize the presence of the elders and leaders of different religious communities, student organizations who are present here. I would also like to acknowledge in absentia Mr. Alex Yama, and also the students of the Accelerated School of Christian Ministry International, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would want to thank you for inviting me here today to be part of this occasion. And I want to bring these words because when Patrick Asari told me about this book, and he said, I want you to say something brief during the launching, I was so happy. Because I believe the launching of a book is the beginning of acquisition of knowledge. And without knowledge, you will never be able to have understanding. And without understanding, you will never be able to get to the place where you'll be wise. In this world that we are living in with technology, you really need to have information. And there is this popular saying by an American author, an historian, a woman named Barbara Thompson. She said, books are the carriers of civilization. They are without which history will be silent, literature will be dumb, science will be crippled, thought and speculation will come to a standstill. Books are the warehouses of knowledge. She said they are also the engineers of change, and they are windows on the world. They open up lighthouses and they show you paths to your next level. As I stand here today at this historic event, I must say that not only do these words ring true, but also it brings clarity to our way forward. We are ensuring that with the production of books and making it available to people, that we will be able to remove the crippleness, to remove the ignorance, and to bring people into enlightenment. Today, as one of the long-awaited books is being launched by a very young and aspiring writer, I must say I am indeed glad, because that is a sign that the next generation have people who will take on the baton and go forward. When I was going through this book, I realized the book is very synonymous to medicine. And the title was not by mistake. Success Capsules. And it is very interesting that, having read through it again last night, I was impressed by the striking, original, and radical reflection thinking that is seen in the introduction. It brings up that antibiotic nature of the book, as it cuts across race, class, ethnicity, gender, culture, geography, and much more. These are things I want when you read Success Capsules. Look for it. They are all in there. As this book is launched, permit me to reflect on the author's note. Patrick says, and I quote, "What the world needs is determined people ready to persevere." Success Capsules, like many other books on personal development, is purposely written to inspire you take those steps to discover your purpose. So it is a warehouse of discovery. Do not read it with your eyes, mind, intellect closed. It is a gold mine. It is a place you have to fish out for stuff. There is so much in the book beyond the pages that it has. He said it is to unleash your potentials and explore your divine gifts and talents to create the lifestyle that you deserve. Reading through this book, you can build a very holistic and ethical standard of life. The advices, the sayings, the proverbs, I don't know how you did it, Patrick, but it looks like a doctor has observed human nature and has come up with the medicine, the requisites to make them healthy every day. I believe if we take it as a doctor has said, we will be successful and we will pursue our purpose. I think this was a good place to clap. Indeed, as you get your copy of this book for yourself, for your friends, and even for strangers, you will in no doubt be enriching your life, impacting others, and also making sure that the ignorance, the uneducated attitude, the lack of reading that is experienced among the youth and many people today will be eradicated once and forever. I highly say this book makes up for a best present for this year, 2015. Now, it might come as a surprise to some of you, but Patrick Asari attended the same school with me. So it's an alma mater. I'm no doubt surprised that he has that kind of information. The house from where we were bred, we have words, and we put them together. So I want to encourage you to keep on the level spirit. In conclusion, I would like to thank the Almighty God and also to thank my brother, Dr. Sidney, because when I was reading the book, I also saw in the acknowledgements and other places his input. If you know him, you would know that the book has something that has become a result of his input. So may God bless each and every one of you, and let us make this historic and memorable day one to once and for all vanquish, exit, delete, wipe out, make of no effect, and make redundant the whole issue of ignorance. I commend you for this great work, and the whole world is waiting for these capsules. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mr. Alessiama, after speaking, just sent me this message, and let me read it out. Precious, is Precious here? Precious. Okay, Precious. Precious just joined me on Facebook and sent me a message. Here's my response, which you can share with others. Hello, Precious. For being the first to reach out to me on Facebook. We will award you a scholarship to attend our online school of greatness to discover and fulfill your purpose. It is a mentorship program that is worth $1,200. $1,200. Send me an email. You can write this email down, alex@alexiyama.com.
I got the message.
Alright, for the registration form. So you just had a scholarship to study at School of Greatness worth $1,200. That was received for you are the first to reach out to Mr. Alessiyama after he finished speaking. Thank you so much. On this note, I would like to call on Ms. Joy Odaman to introduce our keynote speaker for this occasion. Thank you so much. Please, Joy Odaman.
Put your hands together once more, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. You don't do now.
Hi everyone. Hi. Okay. I do it a great honor to introduce our keynote speaker for this August event. Our keynote speaker is the founder and president of World Revival Missions and the senior pastor of the Favorite Cancer Zion Churches Network, headquartered in Kyiv, Ukraine. He's an endowed, dynamic, prophetic, and inspirational preacher with signs and wonders following. He's an author and publisher, and he has written more than 11 books and 25 seminar courses. He's the editor-in-chief of the Positive Life bi-monthly journals. He's also the founder and chairman of the Breakthrough Publishing House of Kyiv, Ukraine. As an educationist, he is the pioneer and chairman of the Source of Life Educational Trust. He presently has 4 primary schools in Kyiv. As a consultant, he's the Chief Inspiration Officer of the Civitech Consultancy Group, which specializes in leadership and business development issues. He's also a speaker in demand in different aspects of life. He earned a doctorate degree and a PhD. He's happily married to Tekla, an economist and ordained minister, and they have 3 children. Innocentia, C.D. Judah Jr., and Ephraim Benedictus. Distinguished guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation, help me welcome Dr. C.P. President of the
beginning to like this guy.
I can't speak on about Mike.
I can do that.
Yeah, so I'm beginning to like this guy. Edgar Dunamis. You're the real Dunamis.
Yeah, I'm very glad to be here today. And it's a good occasion to be where I believe maybe all of us in Cape today have to be guided. Why am I saying so? I have a hobby which I developed very early. I just love books. And I still love books. So it's an honor to be at a place where a book is being launched. And I want to use this opportunity to congratulate Patrick Asari for this great work being done. He has begun very early, and I believe that he's got more to do. And this is not the last launching ceremony that we are gathered to see your books being presented to the world. I believe more of those books will come out. Maybe more than 100 is possible. Yeah, I know a man who has written more than 100 books. And my mentor has written also more than 100 books. Well, I've written few. Yeah. So, not wasting so much time, I also want to recognize the presence of everybody here. And as they were introducing me, I was like, I already gave impression, I don't speak so long about me. I don't really appreciate that. But then, it has already been done. But I would like to just say that I am Sidney Innocent from the clan of Alode, according to inheritance, Alode the Fourth. Created in heaven, packaged in Ghana, and parceled to Ukraine, and positioned in Kyiv. So you are all welcome to this very important place today. I've been informed that I'm the keynote speaker. Well, I think that's a very great job. I will try my best to do what I can. Because as a keynote speaker, I think you're expecting so much from me, right? I think you will help me. I will begin by saying, or sharing this story. A man was or pay a visit to a college, and as walking around by the person guiding him, they came to a place where they introduced to him this Hemingway hall. It was just a new hall built, and he stopped. Wow, that's Ernest Hemingway. He said, no. So he was like, you know, a place. And because he knows Ernest Hemingway as a great writer, maybe you've heard that name before. So, he said, but that's the writer's name. I said, no. So the guy said, well, actually, the name or the person that this place is called after, his real name is Joshua Hemingway. And he said, the guy said, the visitor turned again to the guy, but he's a writer too. So the guy answered, well, he's a writer because he wrote the check. So somebody's a writer, and you're going to write a check. He wrote a book, you're going to pay for it, right? So you're going to write a check and get a copy of that book. I love books, and I'm going home with one as well, because books will make out of you what you can't imagine yourself. I also want to share a story of, also a funny story. There was this woman who is a writer. According to the story, she died, and as she went to the heavenly world, and it was made by a person who introduced to you, okay, tell us, would you like to go to heaven or you want to go to hell? Then he said, okay, first of all, let me have a look at what heaven looks like, and then what heaven looks like. So she decided first to go to watch what's happening. And as he looked into heaven, into hell, he saw that, oh, there was writers there sitting down, sweating, writing, and at the same time, they were being whipped to do their work. She looked at it, and said, no, I don't want to go there as a writer. Then she came back to the one lady and said, okay, take me to heaven, let me see. So again, they led her, and she looked into heaven and saw also people sitting down, writing, sweating, whipping them, keep on writing. And she said, what is it? I don't think I want to go to heaven as well. So, and as she said that, she heard a voice from someone, and the say, okay, here, though they swear to write, but you get published. So the difference between the other place and this place is that when you work hard, you will be published. So I believe Patrick Asari worked hard, and he's been published today. That's why we are gathered here. I bring this story to us to help us focus on the event that is here. Because though I'm introduced as the keynote speaker, I'm not the main person of the event. The main person of the event is Patrick Asari. And he's here because he's presenting to the world today the success capsule. You know, we don't chew capsules, we swallow them. So I advise you that get ready to swallow something, right? Get a copy for yourself and make sure you don't just throw it away, but you swallow, because capsules are made to be swallowed. Now let's get on to business, or my part. When I was asked to speak or to give a speech today, I thought it wise to speak on something very important, because I believe that almost, or if not 100%, at least 90% present today will be students or have something doing with studies. For the past 5 to 6 years, I've been so much concerned about a question that I've been trying to make researches into, and I've come to some conclusions because I take a lot of interest in education. That's why I have Educational Foundation, which provides scholarships and have schools here in Kiev and also other cities of Ukraine. So I'm going to talk about something that is really very close to my heart. It's not just a theory, but something that I'm practicing and working on. And I believe you being the next leaders of the future, you have to think of this very seriously for each one of you. So today, my theme is education and its influence on life's purpose. We have heard Alex Hammer, right? Spoke to us on pursuing purpose. I'm going to touch that very little, but I want to blend it with the issue of education and its influence on our lives. And in that, I have it in some few parts, 7 parts. I'm going to run through it very fast, so just be attentive. The first part I want to touch is the struggle. The struggle in life is not about about the misfortunes that comes our way. Rather, it's an internal and spiritual struggle. The thought of facing the reality of life and the future without knowing the answer to the questions, what to do and who am I? Self-identification and the ability to live out your inner self, which I call the voice, has many people, both young and old, men and women from every race of life, so taught and demanded. Many settle for education to determine their voice. Education has been accepted in all cultures as the way for finding meaning in life. We go to college or university specializing in fields of study with the hope that in the future we will find careers suitable to match our personality and therefore be able to maximize our potentials as we pursue our purposes. Many in school keep dreaming of the future they will create for themselves as they are out of school. They thought certificates will define who they are and what they can do. And more often than not, when graduates enter the labor market, then they discover that their worth is not in the certificates. The realization that the labor market is not enthusiastic about them and what they have studied is a shocker, which many can't handle. The many job applications, as we have read, the many interviews piled into months and years of waiting and expectations which end in frustration. There comes the question, whether it's worth living at all. Some say, what does it worth spending all those years in the classrooms and lecture halls? Others may take the risk to pursue another degree in the field they perceive to be more viable. I want to share two stories. These are true stories that I found on the web, that a place that I usually go to read. One posted in the year 2012. I graduated summer, the person said, I graduated summer 2010 and have had to live at home with my parents since getting my degree. Every entry-level job I apply to requires at least 2 to 3 years of experience, which I have none, obviously. Our friends who did not go to college, who are doing better career-wise right now. Despite the fact that I hold more accredited education, friends of mine with less education actually have jobs and can support themselves for the most part. I am currently unemployed, living in my parents' basement. My whole life, I was basically spoon-fed the idea that if you do well in high school, get into a good college, get your degree, you will get a good job. I have gotten over the fact that this is not going to happen. However, what is equally frustrating is the toll this has taken on my family. Many times arguments start and there is friction in my parents' house between them and myself because of the situation I am in. Many times I feel like a failure. Another story. Go to college and get a job, they said. It will pay off, they said. Well, here is a big old-fashioned raspberry for you. It's nearly impossible these days to find any type of employment, let alone what you actually studied and spend thousands of dollars to gain expertise in. I would be willing to take anything at this point to receive a paycheck, but even the simplest of jobs are devoid or given to those they claim are more qualified applicants. I have a BBA with a double major in HR and project management, and nothing has come down the pipe. I sit in front of my PC all day seeking work, applying, filling out online apps, submitting resumes, contacting potential employers for status, faxing, submitting another resume, performing self-identification from June till December 2013. I've only received one job interview, and I was declined that job because I was overqualified or too old. I am at my wits and have explored all avenues I think are out there, and yet I am still searching. There are millions of such stories out there, but it's actually more than just looking for a job. It is an internal struggle to establish one's position in life. Now the most important question is, how do we escape the struggle and the frustrations? I believe with all my heart, it all begins with knowing your voice. By voice, I mean your purpose of being, the essence of life. It is the way out for any person. Steve Jobs had realized this very early in life. He made a decision of a lifetime to quit college. Well, I'm not advising you to quit college. He said, after 6 months, I couldn't see the value, listen to this, and I quote, after 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. I want you to notice 2 words there, value and help, as it refers to education. It's very important. Now let me ask you, have you ever considered what's the purpose for your life? How your schooling is going to help you figure out what you want to do with your life. Can you see what value your studies or what you're about to study is going to add or to be added to you as a voice, not just as a person, but as a voice? Very important. Is your curriculum educating your purpose or not? If all you are thinking of is to just get a job or a career, then you need to rethink your choices. Too many people are struggling in life, and it seems the majority are the so-called educated. For long we have been fed with the notion and convinced that getting degrees is the end of our underprivileged living. While there is an element of truth in that, it is just maybe 1/3 of the truth. That's according to my measurement. Not undermining the need for education, but when education does not add value to a graduate's life, then it's questionable. Presently, it is very obvious that education is not all that affordable for all. Many finish school just to face the mountain of debts incurred. It's therefore very crucial to ask the question, what value? Before decisions are made. Paying enormous amount of money for 4 or more academic years and later find out that no value is added to you can be very much frustrating. Once more, observing the life of the late prolific inventor and entrepreneur of the century, that's Steve Jobs, has shown that he got it right very early in his life. He said, I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford, and all my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. Yet I was spending all of the money my parents had saved their entire life. He then went on to say, this was the reason for the decision to drop out. Though a scary thing to do at that time, at a very young age, Jobs believed that it was the right decision to do or to make, and hoping that all things would work together for good for him. However, rather than abandon education completely, Steve Jobs knew what to do. That's very important. When you know your voice, you seem to get the right direction. Though you may not know it all, but the confidence that you are on the right path envelopes you and keeps you focused and undeterred. Jobs dropped out of formal education system, but he continued education. In quote. His goal was no more to get a degree, but to educate what he intuitively perceived as his life calling. You know, when I was introduced to Edgar, where is he? Jonathan. I was told he's in the medical school. And I was telling a joke with my young brother here, and I said, maybe after my speech, he will take a decision. Yeah.
Master, stop school.
So instead of vacating campus, Jobs remained there, taking classes he deemed suitable for him. Though going through hardship at the time, the decision to drop out and to drop in on pursuing his voice, that's very important, was fair. Later in life, he remarked, and I quote, much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. In the very insightful book by Sir Ken Robinson, a specialist in the issue of on the subject of education, Out of Our Mind, he said, and I quote, when you follow your own true north, you create new opportunities. meet different people, have different experiences, and create a different life, unquote. This was the case for Jobs. One of the classes he developed interest in was calligraphy, which he fondly described as, and I quote, beautiful, historical, artistically, subtle in a way science can't capture, unquote. And 10 years later, he said, and I quote once more, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography, unquote. Jobs dropped out to drop in. He was actually following and pursuing the call of his life. You have to trust in something, he said. Your guts, destiny, life, whatsoever. He continued. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. The need and the influence of education in life development is so important that if education fails to know why and how to educate, then humanity is at the risk of seeing any substantial progress at all. When education, which is the tool to help bring out the best in human beings, is not meeting its need, then soon, if not already, the systemic education will lose its value in today's fast-changing world. Moreover, if we, those who go to be educated, fail to understand the essence of education and what we wanted from it, then the end result will be frustration. Etymologically, the word education comes from the Latin word educato. It means breeding, bringing up, rearing, lead forth, take up, raise up, and out of. The meaning of education is, in effect, defines the role of education. It is essentially to work with an individual, helping him or her appreciate their purpose, potential, and equipping them not just to think as job seekers, but contributing to bring change to our world, that's solution creators rather than salary receivers. It is obvious that our system of education has become a milling or mining place to produce just job seekers and not job creators. According to ILO, that's ILO, report titled Global Employment Trends 2014, almost 202 million people were unemployed in 2013. Included in that is 32 million new job seekers, 23 million people that became frustrated and no longer look for jobs, and 7 million economically inactive people who prefer not to participate in the labor market. The report further projects, if the trends continue with the same momentum, then global unemployment by 2018 will rise to 13 million, adding to the existing number. Also, the report shows that the younger generation is particularly affected. 74.5 million young people aged 15 to 24 were unemployed in 2013, bringing the global rate to 30.1%, which is 3 times as high as the adult unemployment rate. Education should be the help system which works with the human mind to accept and refine what the heart carries. The heart bears the voice, purpose, and potential, but it needs the mind to make the voice be heard. This is where education must come in. The 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, said, and I quote, "Let us think of education as the means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us there is a private hope and a dream, which fulfilled can be translated into benefit for everyone and greater strength of the nation," unquote. Unfortunately, what we see today is curriculum that inhibits and educates us out of our voices and potentials. We are producing theories who lost touch with real life issues. The fatal result is the loss of zest for creative thinking. Much education today is monumentally ineffective, lamented John W. Gardner, the former Secretary of Health and Education under President Lyndon Johnson. He continued to say, all too often we are giving young people out flowers when we should be teaching them to grow their own plants. However, a critical thought about what we come to know today as education system is not living up to the role and definition of education. I am personally persuaded Should our present system of education get to understand its role, we will see great potentials in manifestation and taking upon the great challenges our world faces today. And I quote, education is not a linear process of preparation for the future. It is about cultivating the talents and sensibilities through which we can live our best lives in the present and create the best futures for us all. Wrote the best-selling author Sir Ken Robinson again in his book, Out of Our Minds. I would like you all to get our book to read. The way, now let me quickly get to redefining education. The way we have been educated and still being educated is not necessarily preparing us to meet the demands of our time and to create the future we want to have. Our perception of somebody being educated is more of intellectual competency and the ability to score high marks at examination. The system of education in operation today is geared towards preparing students to pass tests or examination rather than equipping to handle real life issues facing our society. Intellectual development should not be the goal of education, though. Education should prepare the total person, enabling him or her function as three-dimensional being, spirit, soul, and body, creatively contributing to life and society while fulfilling our various callings. Passing a test in school does not equip anyone to pass the test of life. Education as we have it today is somehow alienated from real life. That is why after we leave school and enter into the real world and face with all its demands, we feel like strangers on the planet. Facing the future boldly and taking charge of our lives individually calls for us to redefine for ourselves what is education and how will it help us implement our voices to serve humanity in these modern days and to secure the future. As an expert and a concerned citizen of the planet Earth, I have done a lot of thinking, reading, researches, and observations regarding the subject. The truth is that the capacity of education to effect change is so great that if redefined and harnessed as to the trend of issues facing individuals and society in these current times, then we can equally empower ourselves to properly handle the surrounding anagram. There is the need to change our perception when it comes to education. The old concept and mentality of education has already lost its power and argument. We must fast forward, unlike in fashion. In fashion, where retro can be accepted, education must look ahead into the future and then think, how can we match up with the speed of development? Education can no longer be viewed through the prism of intelligence and non-intelligence or literacy and illiteracy. The late author and poet Maya Angelou said, my mother said, and I quote, my mother said, I must always be intolerant of ignorance. Take note of that. But understanding of illiteracy, take note of that also. That some people unable to go to school were more educated and more intelligent than college professors. Unquote. Society has so perceived that intellectuals are those who have gone through the basic educational system, scoring A's in all subjects and courses. And we tend to look down on people who were average or low on test scores, classifying them as idiots or not clever. We say, oh, that guy isn't smart at all. We see them as inferior and socially shunned. It's almost a social stigma. But then school is over and everybody goes to face life. Then one day we meet such people doing very well in life and we get perplexed. How come he or she made it and I, an A student, still struggling? Another issue is college degrees are accepted as a person's purpose and potential to do well and succeed in life. While a degree may barely secure a white-collar job, it is not a guarantee for a person's intellectual abilities. People may be good at reading and answering questions to receive an A or eventually finish school with a degree, but that cannot be considered and measured as the ability to be creative, strategic, and productive in life. The notion created by both educationists and policymakers, which some way have cemented this perception in people's mind, is very deceptive. Again, this is why we have to rethink education in general. The wrong perception and the labeling of who is educated and who is not, or who is intelligent or who is not, is doing more harm than good to the development of our personality, society, and economy. The education system and its policymakers have set tools in place which is intimidating and killing potential rather than boosting it. When people feel inferior about themselves, their ability to perform diminishes. I have observed some things when my children were growing. One of such is when they began to learn to walk. They boldly got up on their feet and began to take their first steps. And whenever they fell, and out of parental care and fear of them getting hurt, we yelled, sympathizing. They would just remain flat on the floor, crying as we rush to pick them up. On the other hand, when one keeps his or her silence and just stand to watch them from a distance, they got up themselves and continue to enjoy their first step walk. Our interpretation of their ability to walk wasn't right. We thought we were helping by yelling sympathetically. Well, in actual fact, we have become hindrances and intimidating factors on their inborn intelligence to walk. Likewise, pupils and students or grown-ups may have great intelligence, but they may lose their productive edge if our system and society label them as incompetent and uneducated. And eventually, if no intervention comes their way, their voices get lost without being there. I hope that will not happen with you. Individually, we must relieve ourselves from the hell-wrong notion or perception so that we can empower our voices. That is our purpose, to be heard as we proactively confront the challenges of life and meeting the needs of our society. Historically, people like Michael Faraday, Salim Maizuddin Abdul Ali, Benjamin Franklin, William Shakespeare, Srinivasa Ramanujan, I don't know if you've heard that guy before, great mathematician, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Alva Edison, George Washington, Benjamin Banneker, Alexander Graham Bell, Frederick Douglass, Philo T. Farnsworth, and many others who did not have a formal education but were highly educated, being motivated by their various voices, became very curious and went on to do great things. So be educated, not